Good morning everyone. Welcome once again to the bio class. In the previous class we have met in Google Meet where we discussed about the flower. We have seen the structure of a bisexual flower and different holes of the flower where we had 4 holes. First hole was the sepal, second hole was the petal and the third hole was the androecium and the fourth hole was the gynoecium. We even have seen complete and incomplete flowers, essential and non-essential parts of a flower, and what are bracts and nectaries. Bracts we have seen in the bougainvillea, and nectaries are the sweet fragrant liquids which are present in most of the flowers. These are the nectar secreting cells which are situated at the base of the pistil and on the base of the petals. These nectars were required to attract the insects like honeybees for cross-pollination. Whereas in some cases nectaries are very prominent, for example as in nasturtium. Thus we begin our next topic, that is sexuality in flowers. Now what is this sexuality in flowers? Male flowers, female flowers and bisexual flowers. What do you mean by this? Male flowers means the part of the flower which consists the male part, that is the androecium part. Female part, the flower which contains the female part, that is the gynoecium part. And bisexual flower is those flowers which have both the androecium and gynoecium. So these are male and female and bisexual flowers. The anthers of the stamens produce pollen which forms the male cells or the male gametes, and the ovary of the carpel bears the ovule which encloses the egg cell, that is the stamen and the carpels are the male and female parts respectively of the flower. A flower which contains both stamens and carpel is called a bisexual flower or a hermaphrodite flower. And the flower which has only one of these 3 parts, that is having only the stamen or only the carpel, is called unisexual flowers because only one gamete is present. Unisexual flower can also be called as an imperfect or incomplete flower, and we can give an example about a papaya or a palm. A unisexual flower, this contains only the stamen which is called male or staminate flower, and a unisexual flower which contains only the carpel is called the female or the pistillate flower. So the other name of androecium and gynoecium, you can say it as staminate flower or pistillate flower. If it's male, it is staminate flower. If it's a female, it's a pistillate flower. Whereas another flower is there where neither the male nor the female reproductive organ is present. That is called as the neuter flower. Here both the male and female reproductive organs are lacking. Example you can show of ray florets of sunflower. Let us welcome to the general description of a floral parts of a flower. So first part is a calyx, which is also called as the sepals. Usually there are 5 sepals, sometimes there may be less or a few cases even more. Sepals may be free, polysepalous or fused, that is called gemosepalous. If the sepals are attached to each other, they are gemosepalous. If they are separated to each other, it is called polysepalous. Sometimes in hibiscus or shoe flower, or which you call it as China rose, there may be a second series of sepals called episepals, collectively called as the epicalyx. And when the flower opens, the sepals may fall off or persist. Sepals are usually green, but in some case they are brightly colored, as in gulmohar, where they are red in color. So the sepal protects the young flower bud and the green, and when they green, they also perform photosynthesis. This is about the calyx. We will see corolla, which is also called as the petals. Petals are generally arranged in a single hole, but sometimes they are also arranged in double hole. So as in the example, if you see the poppy, then it's double hole, or it's in a spiral form, which is seen in water lily. They may be free, called as polypetalous. If they are united, they are called gamopetalous. These are forming a tube-like structure, which you can clearly see in figure 4.5 on page number 35. And the petal specially attracts the insects for pollination. Even they also protect the stamens and pistils, especially when the petals are forming in a form of a tube. So this is the function of corolla. So next comes our androecium, which is also called as the stamen. The number of stamen in different flowers may vary from a few to a large number, and each stamen consists of a long filament and an anther attached to its extremity. The anther is usually two-lobed or bilobed, and each lobe has again two pollen sacs, that is 4 sacs in all. And within the pollen sacs, they contain pollen grains. And when this fully matured, the pollen sacs rupture to liberate pollen grains, and pollen grains are generally powdery particles of different shapes and sizes. So in androecium, stamens may be free, called as polyandrous, or may be joined in the way shown in the figure, that is single group is called monadelphous. If it is double group or two group, it is called as diadelphous. If it is in several groups, it's called as polyadelphous, which is shown in figure 4.7, page number 35. So monadelphous is the stamens are united in one group by their filaments. Monadelphous, where the stamens are united in one group by their filaments and only anthers are free. Example you can give of China rose and cotton. Diadelphous, the filaments are united in two bundles. Example you can give of pea. Out of 10, 9 stamens form a staminal tube while one is free. Polydelphous, the filaments are united in several groups. Example you can give of bombax. Fourth whole is your gynoecium. Gynoecium is also known as the pistil. It's composed of one or more carpels, and each carpels again consists of 3 parts, that's stigma, style and ovary. Stigma, it is the terminal knob-like structure. It may be divided into 2 or more lobes and may assume a feathery appearance. The stigma is covered with a hair or a glandular papilla, and it serves as the landing place for pollen grain during pollinations. The insects, when they carry the nectars, when they carry the pollen grain, they sit on the stigma so that they can shed the pollen grains on it. Style is the tubular slender stalk which connects the stigma to the ovary. It's just a connection between the stigma and the ovary. Ovary is the swollen basal portion composed of one or many carpels. The inner cavity of the ovary may be a single chamber or divided into several chambers, and each containing a number of rounded bodies called the ovules. Ovary contains the ovules, and the cushion or the swollen region in the ovary attaching the ovule to the wall of the ovary is called as the placenta. This is all about our gynoecium. Okay, sexuality in plants. In most of the plants, flowers are bisexual. They have both male and female parts. In many plants, male and female flowers are separate, such as they are of 2 types. Like monoecious plants, that is male and female flowers grow on the same plant. Example you can give of maize, cucumber and pumpkin. And dioecious plant, where we have male flower called staminate flower and female flower called pistillate, which grow on different plants. So example you can give of palm and papaya. Now when we talk about inflorescence and placentation, what is inflorescence? It's the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plant. And the flowers may be arranged in several different ways in different plants. This manner of arrangement is called as the inflorescence. So singly either at the apex of the main stem or at the terminal apex of the lateral branches or in the axils of the leaves. Placenta. Placenta is that tissue that attaches the ovule to the wall of the ovary is called as the placenta. And placentation is the manner in which the ovules are arranged, attached to the walls of the ovary, and ovules turn into seeds in the mature fruit. The different arrangement can be seen in fruits such as those of pea, tomato, mango and lotus. Everywhere the arrangement is quite different from each other. So this is what we call it as placentation. By this we come to an end of this lesson, and hope all might have understood. If not, watch the video again and go through the textbook.